Yo, what's up guys, and today I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be doing DoS, the memory and CPU resources. So let's just get into it. So the quick overview of this is availability is one of the triads in CIA. One of the core problems solved by Kubernetes is the management of resources like auto scaling, rollouts, etc. In this scenario, we'll see how attackers can leverage and gain access to more resources, or just cause an impact on the availability of the resources by performing the DoS, the denial of service attack, which basically is an attack run by the attacker when the attacker is sending requests to a server, and those requests are heavy and they come in large numbers. So basically it wears down the server and basically makes like the server like stop operating for a couple of minutes or like seconds, whichever the time has been given. So these attacks can happen through anyone. There's online command tool utility tools for it, or there's also bots for them to do it too. So that's basically what a denial of service attack is. And basically, if there were no resource management configurations implemented on the cluster resources like memory and CPU requests and limits, this is a very big attack because there is no limits or like resource management configuration. So we can just send like infinite requests and basically the server will just stop operating and maybe like break down or crash or like stuff like that. Because that's why it's important to have implemented like cluster resources like memory and CPU requests, and basically limits on if it reaches this much, please don't go over this, as this is the capacity of the server. So by the end of the scenario, we will understand and learn the following. We will learn how to perform the denial of service attack on computing and memory resources using the stress-ng command line utility tool. And we'll also understand the Kubernetes resource management for pods and containers, explore the Kubernetes resource monitoring using the metrics and information. So the story is there is no specification of resources in Kubernetes manifest and no applied limit ranges for the containers. But what this is saying is there is no limitation for resources in the container we are going to exploit. So as an attacker, we can consume all the resources where the pod deployment running and starve other resources and cause a denial of service attack for the environment. So basically, to get started, you need to go to over here and make sure your cluster is running and the pods are running too. So see you guys then. So to basically get started with the scenario, we just need to navigate to this website here. So just copy the link here, and go to your attacking machine and paste that in. So I've already done this, I'll just do it again. Like that. So you see here we got basically a shell on the web, so we can just do some basic enumeration, but we know this is a DDoS. So what we do here, I'm just doing export terms so we can get the clear function in. So yeah, so we know this is a DOS, denial of service attack, and we can go ahead and like look into the spoilers and stuff. So how can I DDoS resources? So we can leverage the popular command line utility called stress-ng. So this basically is a denial of service command line utility which focuses on basically putting stress on the resources, so sending too many requests such like that. So we know the aim of this scenario is basically to access more resources than intended for this pod/container by consuming 2 gigabytes of memory to successfully complete this scenario. So let's get into it. So what we're going to be using here is stress-ng, and this is VM2, so we know this is a VM, and VM bytes, which is basically how many bytes do we want to take out, how many bytes we want to send over. So here we got 2 GBs because it says over here 2 GB, consuming 2 GB of memory to successfully, and the timeout is 30 seconds. So just copy that and go over to the machine here, type it in here, stress ng, which is VM2 VM time bytes, and this is 2G, and timeout we want is 30 seconds. So let's press enter. It's a warning that your machine, if you're using like a virtual machine like I am, it might actually freeze because it's gonna be very high. It's gonna use lots of its resources, so let's be careful for that. And just press enter. We see it is dispatching hogs 2 VMs, which are going to be accessing this server pod container types. You can see over here, this is my CPU monitor. You can see it's just at the all-time high here, and it's actually stopped working because that's how it's just frozen here. So just wait until you get your result back. So I will see you guys then. So we see here we have got our run back here. We see it's completed in 36.74 seconds here. So that's it, and we see here our CPU monitor is back to normal. So here we see it actually did freeze, so just be careful of that when running it. Go over to our terminal, and what we can do here is just basically just start trying to see the stuff. So trying to see how many resources that the thing has used, basically the stress ng. So yeah, what we can actually do here is just kubectl get pods in a different namespace, because we know it's in a different namespace, big monolith, and we have set the timeout for 30 seconds. So after 30 seconds it should actually come back to normal. So here, so just basically what this does is kubectl namespace is a big monolith top pod, basically tells us the resources about the pod, and this is a pod, and click enter, and we see here we got the result back. So the results are actually quite normal, so we have to actually keep on checking these resources to see if we spot anything unusual. Then we know the denial of service attack has worked. So we see here nothing bad so far. So we see here how big of a spike that is, to 1M cores and 9 MI to 53 cores and nearly 157 bytes. So yeah, it's still going. We put a timeout for 30 seconds, so this might recover any minute, but that's basically what this is meant to be. And sometimes even last time I tried doing this, what happened was that it didn't even give me what you can say CPU cores and memory bytes. It just gave me unable to handle the request. So that's how much pressure, that's how many requests has been sent to the server. So we see here it's restored back to normal now. Let's do another one. Yeah, it's just restoring back to normal. But that's basically how to perform a denial of service attack on pods and containers. It's just simple command, but this really did create lots of destruction. So some ways to mitigate this is basically putting up with like an auto scaling. So auto scaling is basically when you receive requests, depending on how many requests, it will automatically scale the memory size on the response stuff like that. So it scales that, and so if you got not that many requests, it will scale it down to not that much memory, and then you suddenly have loads of requests. It will scale. It will basically scale on real time. But again, this is but again that costs a lot of money and basically does expensive billings to your cloud provider. So which basically also impacts the availability of these resources and services. So another way is we can do resource restriction. So we can say don't let any more requests come until this many requests. So any more requests coming over that, it will just cut off, and that's the more efficient way you can say. But again, you're not getting all the requests, stuff like that. So that's basically how to basically perform a denial of service attack with memory and CPU resources, and we basically finished the scenario, and we basically learned how to simply do this. Not on a big scale, but we saw the results, and it was pretty massive. So that's basically the video up for now. So see you guys later. Peace.